second, what is it? What did we call it? Accessory apartment.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of those getting permitted now that already exist. We know that. It's already started.
But that's not going to solve the problem because there are people living there.
No, but things don't happen overnight,
Right.
Dan.
Right.
You're going to be able to get, people are going to re-examine their dirt and figure out what, we've actually have to fix something at town meeting this year, next year, this year, right? Whatever.
Next March.
We found that you can't do a tertiary dwelling or an accessory apartment when you do a covenant lot with the remaining land. We have to get that fixed because that's, I think a lot of people thought that went with this article, but it didn't. So there are some things that we have to do there, but we got to talk about 40R developments. We have to talk about friendly 40B stuff, some different ways to do cluster developments, like the Barbara Malcolm land that you may be aware of. That is sort of in flux at the moment.
Well, for the viewers, tell them where that is.
It's on the right-hand side on South Shore Road, just after the fire exit, or whatever we call that, for the what's the new development called?
Sachem's
Path. Yeah. So that's in Lug 2, and it's right near all the services. We have to fix these things, but it has to all be done at town meeting, and it has to be understood and explained properly so that the voters can make a decision, because the worst thing to do at town meeting is try to create a public hearing out of town meeting. It just doesn't work.
Agreed.
You can't talk back and forth. You only have 2 minutes if you don't call the article or you're not the sponsor. So it's complicated to talk more than 2 minutes. If I had 2 minutes on your show, I'd have to leave right before I even started. So anyway, okay. So what else? The other thing, there was something else that we wanted to discuss on this issue, and
you wanted to talk a little more about tertiary dwellings, I think.
Well, the tertiary dwelling thing was something that came out of Isaiah Stover's article. We wanted to do this, but the thing with his article was about trailers and wheels and things like that. And we just knew that would be tough to get through. We thought that just making it a small house, 500 square feet of living space would solve this and get through the town meeting process much easier than people imagining trailers with wheels and having them shingled over and things like that. It would just turn into we felt that it would be a difficult sell. That was where that came from.
Well, I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah, I just thought of the other thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
The issue of infrastructure costs. You know, there's a lot came out of that Article 53 with like FinCom's report and some other things. And you'll hear that from the folks that don't want more houses. And we're coming up to the big debate on this. We have plenty of sewer capacity. Plenty. That has to be said. You can have your own opinions, but you can't have your own facts. The facts are that we have plenty. Yes, there are a lot of areas that aren't sewered, but we have plenty of capacity. So we have to separate these things, because we're getting rid of all the water downtown going into the going to the sewer system. So we're creating more capacity by getting rid of the water, okay, in the old pipes. So that's one thing. The other thing is just the general infrastructure. Now, there's a lot of discussion on Old South Road, and we've got a new market that may go in at Paul Roberts' land. We have a little racket clubby thing that might go in over by Egan Lane. There's a little piece of land in between Egan Lane and that little paved road there. There's a sort of a we're full discussion going on right now. We're not full. That's like saying the boat is full. Well, the boat might be full, but the next one will get you on. It's like being on standby saying you can't get on the boat. Well, you know you can, okay? The cars are already here argument is starting to become a planning tool for applicants, okay? It's interesting how this has all started to happen. When you talk about Old South Road, one argument is that we can't go fast enough, and another argument is we're going too slow.
That's the same argument.
Well, I mean, not going fast enough. Excuse me. Yeah. So it's like, which do we want? And I think we have to accept that Old South Road is what it is. It's a developed area that's going to have more development. It's got mixed commercial. It's got seasonal residents in North Shop.
And
It's not going to change.
And that's been the plan.
We just need to slow down and not be so worried about this stuff and try to create problems for future development just because there's traffic on Old South Road. So we need to have a connector roads. We need to look at these things now. It's not that
maybe even widen it.
I don't want to talk about that now because I haven't seen anything on paper that would really. But I think that is going to be turning lanes and things like that are going to end up being discussed on Old South Road. It's a unique road. No other road on Nantucket has the same type of situation, and I don't think any other road ever will. Fairgrounds and Nobody at Farm are never going to be like that.
That's right.
So, what else we got? Boats. You hate talking about the fast ferry.
I'm going to bring up the fast ferry. We've got just a few minutes. Fast ferry. I obviously haven't seen the Highline numbers, but the steamship numbers for the fast ferry are pretty amazing.
And we had one less day of service operation this year.
I mean, just for the month of May,
it's up 7,500.
It was
20%, something like that.
It was a little more than that actually, and there are people coming. I mean, and even the slow ferry's up 7% or something like that.
The reason the slow boat is up is you got to eliminate January through March with the slow boat. Just blow it up.
No, I'm saying
nothing else was running
over last year.
I'm just I know.
I'm just saying. The month of May. The month of May over last year.
All right, you're looking at that. I thought you were talking about from January 1st now. Okay, because you know what happened this winter.
Yeah.
The Nantucket was like the saved us. It ran and nothing else was running, so the numbers went up by just because. The most important thing to look at with all that stuff, though, is weather. All the weekends so far have not had a weather situation where, Daffodil if it's bad on a Thursday or a Friday, boom, the numbers are gone. Right. When they're already here and they're trapped and it gets bad on Sunday or Saturday, no one cares because they're already here. So we've been very lucky. The restaurant week, what's the other thing? Wine Festival was perfect. Yeah. And Daffodil. So far, everything has been running, without a hitch.
What I find fascinating, because obviously I look at it from the airport's perspective, is that the airport enplanements were down 10% in the month of April. I don't have May yet.
When you say employment, can you explain to the audience? People think employment is a plane. It's a people.
It's a person getting on
It should be enpeoplements.
It's a person getting on a plane.
Okay. I know. It doesn't make sense. It's like my upzoning thing. It doesn't make sense.
It's a person getting on a commercial airline.
Yeah.
And again, April, there's no, other than Boston, there's no service anywhere but Hyannis and New Bedford.
Yeah.
But my point is, what's remarkable to me, and you have to divide the steamship numbers by half to get an equivalent number.
Right.
So
I understand what you're saying.
We're down 700. The steamship's up close 3,500, something like that.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, when this Highline brings on their new boat, do you foresee an increase in this, or do you think it's going to stay fairly flat?
Well, first of all, this goes back to the
it can't be. First of all,
this goes back to the we're full.
Yeah.
We're never really full. Well, this isn't a 9-seat plane that can't have 10 people on it. The Highline new boat is going to be, as my term, reset. It's going to be a reset of where the people sort of disperse. They're getting rid of the Great Point, as just for full disclosure, if everyone doesn't know that, which they don't need anyway. They're running it just because they own it. They don't make any money on that boat. We'll get some slow boat passengers. Some will be going on their boat. We may do something with to try to promote the sort of the Eagle at 9:15 to kind of replace the Great Point, because they run on the same schedule in the summer as the Eagle, within 10 minutes. And the best part about this is that the 435 Highline is not going to be the Green Line to Fenway on a Sunday hot. I mean, there's no place to sit on that boat.
Right.
It needs to spread out. We need to spread out the people, okay? And that's what's going to happen when they run the Great Gray Lady 3 along the Gray Lady 4. It's going to be sort of an offsetting schedule. I think they're going to have 8 boats a day, maybe 9 in the core of the summer.
Right.
But the same number of people are still going to count. This is the part it isn't going to be an overall increase in numbers of people. It's just going to be in different boats, I feel.
We'll see.
I know. We don't know that.
We'll take that
We
on
don't know.
another time.
We don't
Nat Lowell,
know.
thanks very much for
Okay.
your insights. It's always fun.
Thank you, Dan, for having me.